The ocean's surface conceals a world that defies the fundamental assumptions of biology. For centuries, the deep sea was thought to be barren, an expanse of absolute darkness, immense pressure, and near freezing temperatures. Early oceanographers insisted that no organism could survive beyond a few hundred meters. The logic seemed flawless. With every 10 meters of depth, pressure increases dramatically, compressing anything with air pockets or fragile tissues. Light disappears beyond 200 meters, removing the foundation of photosynthesis. Temperatures approach the freezing point of water. Nutrients become scarce, broken down by microbial processes long before they sink to the abyss. By the 19th century, the scientific consensus was simple: the deep ocean was an empty desert. Yet modern exploration has shown that the opposite is true. Life thrives in the abyss, not in spite of the extreme conditions, but because of them. What researchers have uncovered in the last few decades is an ecosystem shaped by forces far beyond ordinary evolutionary pressures. Organisms down here do not conform to familiar principles. Instead, they display physical and biochemical adaptations that appear almost impossible. Many species live with transparent bodies, liquid skeletons, bioluminescent organs, and metabolic systems tuned to operate at pressures that would crush steel hulls. Among the thousands of deep-sea discoveries, very few species evoke genuine dread in the scientific community. However, one creature stands apart. It is an organism so structurally improbable, so deceptively fragile in appearance, and so poorly understood that its existence challenges the limits of known biology. It is often referred to simply as the impossible fish, a name born from the first blurry images captured by remotely operated vehicles. The organism is known in scientific literature as Macropina microstoma, but it is more widely recognized as the barrel-eye fish. Its appearance resembles a surrealistic sculpture more than an animal. A transparent dome-like head revealing internal organs, upward-facing tubular eyes, and a gelatinous body that should logically collapse under pressure. The barrel-eye lives at depths typically between 600 and 800 meters, in the somber zone where sunlight never penetrates. This twilight world is populated by drifting jellies, predatory siphonophores stretching upward of 40 meters, and an array of bioluminescent hunters. The barrel-eye navigates this environment with a precision that suggests sensory abilities far beyond ordinary fish. It appears motionless at times, suspended in the water column with an almost eerie stillness. Yet beneath this calm exterior lies a biological design unlike any other vertebrate on Earth. Scientists studying the deep sea often encounter organisms that seem alien, but the barrel-eye is exceptional because of what it reveals. Its transparent head challenges assumptions about the necessity of physical protection for vital organs. Its tubular eyes, capable of rotating across multiple axes, violate the expected limitations of cranial anatomy. And its behavior slipping quietly through the hunting grounds of the ocean's most lethal predators suggests a survival strategy that remains unclear. What terrifies researchers is not the creature's appearance, but the implications of its design. If an organism can evolve a transparent skull, fluid-filled cranial cavity, and directional rotating eyes while functioning in crushing pressure and perpetual darkness, then the boundaries of vertebrate evolution are far wider than previously imagined. The barrel-eye raises a disturbing question: how many more impossible species exist in the depths we have not yet explored? The deep sea covers nearly 2/3 of the planet, yet humans have seen less than 1% of it. Every new discovery expands the limits of what life can be. And with each revelation, the line between the familiar and the alien becomes thinner. The barrel-eye stands at the threshold of this unsettling frontier, a reminder that Earth still hides forms of life that defy every rule we think we understand. At first glance, the barrel-eye fish appears fragile, even delicate. Its transparent dome resembles a soap bubble, shimmering faintly in the artificial lights of submersible cameras. Beneath the dome lies a pair of cylindrical green eyes, suspended within a chamber filled with clear fluid. These unusual eyes are the organism's defining feature, and they are responsible for its reputation as a biological anomaly. In most vertebrates, eyes are oriented forward or sideways. integrated securely into bony sockets. Their movement is limited by musculature and the constraints of the skull. The barreli, by contrast, possesses eyes that float freely within a transparent shield, capable of rotating upward, forward, and at angles impossible in other fish. Early researchers misunderstood these structures entirely, believing the dark spots on the front of the fish were its eyes. These structures are in fact olfactory organs. The true eyes remain hidden within the liquid-filled dome. The shape of the eyes is also unprecedented. They are long, tubular, and highly sensitive, optimized for collecting faint traces of bioluminescent light. At depths where sunlight cannot reach, the only illumination comes from organisms that generate their own glow. The barreli's eye tubes act as specialized sensors, detecting the small flashes of prey drifting above or the faint silhouettes of predators. The green pigment inside the eyes filters out the penetrating blue wavelengths of ambient bioluminescence, allowing the fish to detect specific light signatures emitted by its preferred prey. This design raises a troubling question. How can such delicate structures withstand the pressure of the deep ocean? The transparent shield appears fragile, lacking the supportive bone structure one would expect. Yet analysis shows that the dome is composed of a tough, flexible protein blend unlike any other cranial covering found in vertebrates. It behaves as a deformable membrane, able to bend under pressure while maintaining internal structural integrity. This adaptation ensures that the fragile ocular organs remain intact even as the surrounding water exerts crushing force. The transparent head also offers an evolutionary advantage. Without opaque skin or scales covering its eyes, the barreli can collect light without obstruction. It effectively lives within its own viewing chamber, a sealed system optimized for visual sensitivity. The dome reduces drag, protects the eyes from the stinging cells of siphonophores, and may even serve as a sensory interface, allowing the fish to detect subtle pressure changes or chemical traces in the water. The arrangement of organs within the dome is equally unusual. The brain, suspended in a gel-like substrate, appears to float. Its orientation suggests that the fish uses rotational vision to track prey drifting overhead. When approaching prey, the barreli can rotate its eyes forward, enabling accurate targeting and coordination. This ability to adjust its visual field in real time makes it an efficient ambush predator in an environment with extremely limited visibility. The more researchers examine the barreli, the more anomalies they uncover. Its musculature is arranged to minimize energy expenditure, an essential adaptation in a habitat where food is scarce. Its digestive system contains specialized enzymes capable of breaking down the gelatinous tissues of siphonophores, one of the deep sea's most complex predators. Its sensory organs are tuned to detect minute vibrations in the water, allowing it to navigate without expending significant energy. Yet perhaps the most unsettling feature is the biological implication. Transparency at this scale simply should not work. A transparent skull should expose the organism to internal damage from predators, debris, and pressure differentials. And yet the barreli persists, thriving in an environment defined by extremes. It challenges the assumption that protective anatomy must be rigid, opaque, and structurally reinforced. In the barreli, evolution has produced a creature whose body operates more like a living optical instrument than a traditional vertebrate. The barreli's skull is not merely a protective casing, it is an active component of its sensory system. It represents an evolutionary pathway that scientists had not previously imagined. And it serves as a reminder that, in the deep sea, biological innovation can take forms that defy not only expectations, but fundamental principles of vertebrate design. In the dim corridor of the mesopelagic zone, where faint blue glimmers from the surface fade into total blackness, survival depends on efficiency. Energy scarcity defines every organism's behavior. Predators must capture prey without wasting movement. Prey must avoid detection by minimizing their presence. It is within this narrow ecological balance that the barreli fish has perfected a strategy of predation unlike any other vertebrate. Suspended motionlessly in the water, the barreli rarely swims in the conventional sense. Its large, flat fins act as stabilizers, allowing it to hover with minimal energy expenditure. This stillness gives it an almost ghost-like appearance, rendering it nearly invisible in the deep-sea gloom. The transparent dome offers no silhouette for predators to detect, and the gelatinous body reflects little to no ambient light. In effect, the fish becomes part of the darkness. Its preferred hunting grounds are dense aggregations of drifting siphonophores, colonial organisms composed of numerous specialized units. These vast ribbon-like superorganisms can stretch tens of meters through the water column, armed with arrays of stinging structures capable of delivering potent toxins. Most fish avoid these floating gauntlets, but the barreleye navigates them with precision. Its transparent shield may serve as protection against the stinging cells, enabling the fish to move freely through clusters of tentacles without injury. The barreleye positions itself below the siphonophore colonies, angling its tubular eyes upward. This orientation maximizes its ability to detect prey items that become ensnared in the drifting tendrils. Small crustaceans and gelatinous forms paralyzed by the siphonophore's sting drift downward. The barreleye monitors these slow descents, adjusting the angle of its eyes with micrometric precision. When a target is identified, the fish transitions from stillness to motion with a sudden economical burst. Its body remains remarkably stable as only the fins provide propulsion. The mouth opens slightly, revealing a small but efficient suction feeding mechanism. The prey is pulled inward with minimal disturbance to the surrounding water. This feeding style prevents alerting other predators or triggering defensive responses from the siphonophore. Observations by deep-sea vehicles reveal a pattern. The barreleye often positions itself at a fixed distance beneath the siphonophore curtain. This suggests a form of spatial learning or instinctual recognition of optimal hunting zones. The fish appears to understand the structure of its environment, using the vertical dimension in a calculated manner. Such behavioral sophistication is unexpected in an organism with such a small brain, raising questions about how sensory information is processed within its transparent cranial cavity. The barreleye's hunting efficiency is further enhanced by its metabolic specializations. Its slow, deliberate movements reflect an extremely low energy expenditure. The musculature is tuned to conserve ATP, and the internal organs operate at a metabolic rate far below that of surface-dwelling fish. This low consumption allows the barreleye to survive in a habitat where food may be scarce for extended periods. Even a single captured prey item can sustain it for a long time. Yet despite its measured existence, the barreleye is not without threats. Larger predators, including deep-sea sharks and high-speed fish like the promethid family, occasionally intrude into its hunting range. The barreleye's defensive strategy is the same as its predatory one: motionless invisibility. Its gelatinous tissues blend with the surrounding water, and the lack of reflective scales prevents detection by bioluminescent glints. Only the tubular eyes offer any visible structure, glowing faintly green, not enough to give away its presence. Still, the fish's reliance on stillness presents a paradox. Remaining so inert may allow it to avoid detection, but it also suggests biological fragility. Many researchers believe that the barreleye would be unable to survive sudden shifts in environment, turbulence, or strong currents. The creature appears so delicately balanced that any disruption to its narrow ecological niche could be catastrophic. This fragility, combined with its improbable adaptations, contributes to the unsettling conclusion that the barreleye exists on the edge of biological possibility. In the silent world of the Twilight Zone, the barreleye is a near-perfect predator, efficient, invisible, and eerily adapted to a habitat built on scarcity. Yet its existence hints at something more, an evolutionary trajectory guided not by gradual change, but by radical innovation formed under extreme pressures. The deeper scientists look, the more they realize that the barreleye is not merely a creature of the deep. It is a warning that the deep sea may contain organisms far stranger than anything yet discovered. The barreleye has become a symbol of the unknown, a reminder of how little humanity understands about the deep ocean. Every detail of its anatomy, every behavioral pattern, and every ecological role it fills challenges established biological frameworks. Scientists who study deep-sea life are increasingly aware that the barreleye represents only the first step into an evolutionary landscape that defies convention. The deep ocean encompasses more than half the planet's surface area, yet remains one of the least explored regions on Earth. The majority of its depths have never been seen, even for seconds, by remotely operated vehicles. Pressure increases to levels that distort steel, temperatures plunge, and visibility drops to zero. These inhospitable conditions have caused researchers to rely heavily on fragile equipment that often fails under stress. As a result, only a small fraction of deep-sea species have been observed or cataloged. Many discoveries happen by accident, occurring when submersibles drift into unexpected regions. The barreli exemplifies how radically different deep-sea life can be from surface organisms. It demonstrates that structures considered impossible transparent skulls, freely rotating eyes, and liquid-filled cranial chambers are not evolutionary dead ends but functional adaptations. It forces scientists to reconsider fundamental assumptions about vertebrate design, sensory processing, and structural mechanics under pressure. But the existence of the barreli raises a series of unsettling questions. If such a creature can exist, what else might inhabit the deeper zones, where pressure is immeasurably greater and light has never touched? Organisms discovered just a few hundred meters below the barreli's habitat show increasingly alien characteristics. Bioluminescent organs arranged in anatomical patterns that resemble geometric designs. Predators with biological lures that mimic living bait. Transparent siphonophores that extend longer than blue whales. And ctenophores that refract light like organic prisms. These organisms exist in regions still accessible to submersibles. Far below them lie zones entirely unexplored. The abyssal plains stretch for thousands of kilometers, and beneath them, the Hadal trenches plunge deeper than Mount Everest is tall. These trenches contain pressures that crush conventional equipment, leaving vast ecosystems unobserved. If the barreli's transparent skull seems improbable, then unknown species below may possess traits beyond current comprehension. The implications extend beyond biology. Deep-sea ecosystems operate with cycles unfamiliar to surface environments. Energy originates from chemical reactions rather than sunlight, and ecological interactions rely on behaviors shaped by perpetual darkness. Studying these mechanisms may reveal analogs for extraterrestrial life. The barreli, with its unique ocular and cranial systems, demonstrates that evolution can produce organisms capable of processing sensory information in environments devoid of sunlight. This suggests that life on other planets may not require conditions similar to Earth's surface. Instead, it may thrive in dark oceans beneath icy crusts, much like those theorized on Europa or Enceladus. For scientists, the barreli is both fascinating and unsettling, because it exposes the limits of current knowledge. It forces the scientific community to acknowledge that the rules governing life are far broader than once believed. Every new deep-sea discovery expands the range of what evolution can achieve. Transparent organs, gelatinous structures, and extreme metabolic systems are not anomalies. They may represent the dominant form of life in Earth's largest habitat. The fear surrounding the barreli is not rooted in danger. The creature poses no threat to humans. Instead, the fear stems from what it represents: uncertainty. The possibility that vast numbers of organisms exist beyond the reach of observation, each with adaptations that challenge known science, introduces an element of the unknown into biological study. The barreli is a visible fragment of an invisible world. As deep-sea exploration advances, more species like the barreli will likely emerge, creatures that undermine expectations and expand the boundaries of possibility. But until technology develops to withstand extreme depths, much of the ocean will remain hidden. The barreli stands near the threshold of this darkness, a living testament to the unfathomable diversity that the deep ocean shelters. In the final assessment, the barreli embodies the central truth of deep-sea biology. Life does not merely adapt to its environment, it transforms into something entirely new. And this transformation often leads to forms so unfamiliar that they seem impossible. For now, the barreli remains a glimpse into a world that eludes comprehension, a reminder that the greatest mysteries of life may lie not in the stars, but far below the surface of our own planet. We upload new videos every single day, so make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's next. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, it really helps the channel grow. Tell us in the comments what you'd like to see next. Your ideas might be in our next upload. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of our community. Stay tuned, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.